Hey guys, this is Seth from the Mast Store Knife Shop, and today we have a true battle of the blades. We're going to go over the Benchmade Bugout compared to the Buck Range Pro, and we're going to compare them. Not necessarily one's better than the other, but compare them, see to apples to apples, and see which one you guys like better, which one you would pick. I know which one I would pick. And I think a main key is one of these is $75 less than the other, and they're pretty much very, very close. So let's go over that. First, let's check out how similar the boxes are. You got your typical Benchmade box. It looks like a little coffin. Open it up. Got a nice bed to lay in. And the Buck one is very similar. You got your obligatory bag, warranty, and you got a little bed for your gerbil to lay in. So very similar boxes. And now we can get into the knives. So like we said, in the left corner, you have the Benchmade Bugout. This is like the king of the lightweight EDC world. Been around since 2017. That's when the first Bugout was introduced with the bright blue handle. You might remember it. And now, from 2025, we have the Buck Range Pro. And I've heard this called as the Bugout Killer. And some people call that Bugout Killer. And it's very similar. You can see they're very similar at first view. A lot of similar characteristics. We'll go over that in detail, but at first glance they're pretty much identical. So let's go over the Bugout. Super light. It comes in at a weight of 1.85 ounces, and again, that's what it's known for, the lightweightness of it. That's why it's called a Bugout, because you can put it in your Bugout bag. It doesn't weigh down. Minimal. Very well known. Benchmade is a household name. People love it. And then similar is the Range Pro. They both have the axis lock. Of course, this is called the Crossbar lock. Axis lock is proprietary to Benchmade. They kind of coined that years ago, but now other companies are using it. Super smooth action. They both have a bronze washer and polished washers on the pivot, so they're very smooth when they're both equal in the action. You can see they're both. This one's a little bit lighter, so honestly, it's a little tougher to open because the blade is so light. This one I feel has a little more oomph behind it because it's a heavier blade, a little sturdier, beefier handle, beefier grip I feel for like a true work knife. Like I said, this is known for the lightweight in the EDC world. This one I feel like it's ready to do work. If you're a carpenter or just heavier in the knives, I feel more comfortable with this. Whereas this one is a bit lighter in the pocket, great for just everyday EDC, but I do not feel like this could withstand the same force or everyday use of this one, and that's a personal thing. I know I got some Benchmade people out there that will be cussing me right now, to your own opinion, but so far I'm liking the Buck Range Pro. What else we got? We have both have the drop point style blade. With this one has a Cerakoted finish. Now the Bugout comes in several color handles, blade finishes, steels. This particular one is the S30V steel with the Cerakote, kind of the gray handle. With a Grivory, by the way. Benchmade they're one up on this one because the Grivory is a more heat resistant, a little more rigid material versus the GFN, which is glass filled nylon, on this handle. Very similar, but the Grivory is a few steps up on that one. But again, this one, I do like the grip on this one. It feels like 2000 grit sandpaper. You can feel a slight little grip on that one, whereas the Grivory is similar, but it does not have that 2000 grit feeling. So I do like it on that one. What else? We got the Bugout. It wins because it has a lanyard hole. I think the guys were sleeping when they designed this one. There's no lanyard hole. That's okay, but I am getting used to having one of those. So Benchmade wins on that one. And we have both a tip-up deep carry clip on it for pocket carry. The left hand, right hand, they are both reversible, so similar in that respect. And we also have, and this one, the Range Pro has the jimping all the way up on the blade. I do like that feature because you can get a really good tight grip all the way up, whereas the Bugout is a little bit farther down, which is fine. It's good for everyday use, but if your hand is larger, you're going to have trouble gripping that down there if your thumb has to come down. So I do like it on this. It's made for bigger hands, it feels like. So really, really beefy in the hand, whereas this one is super light and just minimal design. And you can see right here how the jimpings compare. Right up there. So you got really high up on the Range Pro and a little bit lower on the Bugout, but they're both very grippy. But I do prefer the one that's going to go a little bit higher up. You got more use of the knife. So that's a great feature on those. And so after comparing these, well actually first let's go over the specs on them overall. Let's compare them here on our ruler. So the length on the Range Pro overall is 8 inches full length, where you got 7.46 on the Bugout. And the blade length on the Pro is 3.37 inches and the Bugout 3.34. So it's a minimal difference, but not a whole lot to compare to there. And now we can also go over the steel. We have an S30V steel on the Bugout right there, and we have a 154 cm with a Boss heat treat. That's very important. On all the American bucks, they feature the Boss heat treat, which is Tony Boss has been around since the 60s, and he is the one that has perfected the heat treat process in all buck knives. So it is above all others, in my opinion. So let's go over that on our steel chart, comparing the S30 and the 154. As always, we have edge retention, you got your toughness, and your stainless properties. Now on the S30V, CPM S30, you got really good edge retention. It's a 6 out of the 10, so that's what it's known for. And on this particular chart, all we have is the CPM 154. The regular 154, which is on the knife, it'll fall a little bit lower than this. It's still good for a comparison. So you can see where it falls on edge retention a little bit lower, not terrible. The S30, it's up on that one. If you go to toughness, you drop a little bit on the toughness on S30. It's about a 4 out of 10, whereas the 154 would be a little bit higher, and that's one thing it's known for. And also, if you go down to your stainless properties, S30 very high on it, 7.5. The 154 right there with it. So they're both very stainless. So they're comparable steels. Some have more advantages than others. So I think after comparing these, it's come down to if you want like an ultralight premium steel, 110% American made, the Bugout typically wins. If you want more of a durable, better value, more of a work-focused knife, I think the buck knife wins. And it's also American. This one is American. It's made out of Post Falls, Idaho, where Benchmade is out of Oregon. So they're both out west, comparable in that sense. And also one little key feature, you can date a buck knife. I love that. That little symbol right there is how you date a buck knife. You can go online and see what symbol is for 25, 26, and so forth. So I think buck wins in that case because I love how you can date or collect any kind of knife. That's just a personal thing. Keep that in mind. You can look at your buck knife and see what yours is. And now I want to hear from you. I think the buck wins, personally, compared to the two, only because of the main price difference. Well, let's see, the Bugout, it comes in at $200, and some will be higher, some will be lower, but this model, $200, depending on the steel. Whereas you can get basically the same thing here with the Range Pro at $124.99. So that's a $75 difference for essentially the same knife, American made, similar steel, axis lock, crossbar lock, similar handle, clip, everything. So for a work knife, if you want to say $75, I definitely vote for the buck. I want to hear what y'all think. Please put it in the comments if you're a Benchmade fanatic, if you're a buck fanatic, if you want to save money and buy that one, if you think this one is tough enough for the work you do. So just leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And also, if you want to see more comparison videos like this with any brand, any knife, just let us know in the comments as well. That'd be very helpful. And I think that should wrap it up. I appreciate y'all watching, and please hit the like button if you like this video, and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and also ring the bell so you'll know when we post a new video. I thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.